Bill Maher, I think, is going to get a tip of the hat from me. What do I mean? I never knew because I'm not a history major about Mexico and the United States. But once upon a time, Bill Maher pointed out that Mexico went through California to Portland, Oregon. And his message was get over it. My name's Stuart Brisgale. That's David Solomon. Welcome to the Rant Network. This is a podcast where we bring unfiltered, uncensored, unedited conversations on a wide range of topics. This podcast is dedicated to giving you a platform to express opinions, share thoughts, experiences, ideas from a variety of honest perspectives. And the key is, let's be honest. The ancestral land of Israel is Jewish, conquered over 100 years by the Saudis, the Ottoman Empire, right? Join us as we dive into the latest news, pop culture, and so much more. Rants about all kinds of stuff. So sit back, relax. We got you covered Monday, Wednesday, Friday, noon Eastern. David, I didn't see that Bill Maher. I watched him very sporadically over the last, I don't know how many years. And, sometimes I find his humor really just awful. And, that was just interesting. The world is throwing temper tantrums. Whether it's university kids are throwing temper tantrums, they don't know why they're crying. They don't know why they're yelling. They don't know why they're holding flags. They don't know why they're hollering from the river to the sea. They are just ignorant to know that, you know what? You cannot pacify a child, by giving them always what they want. Because sometimes they want things that they really shouldn't want, things that they shouldn't really have. I'm dealing with a child with a temper tantrum as well. It's very difficult as a parent to watch. But I'm not the parent of the people in Israel. I'm just another Jew in South Florida. Go figure. A Jew in Miami. David, you're in Montreal. You brought this idea to me this morning, and I think it's absolutely brilliant. I think it's absolutely brilliant that we're talking about temper tantrums. Even after you offer them exactly what they want. There was a rabbi, David, named Rabbi Edward Davis. He married me. And I think you may remember his comments. You don't love me, you hate me. But he always said that for a marriage to succeed, it's the 5% of the things you have to fight for. And the 95% that your spouse wants, you have to guess what she wants and give it to her. David, you brought this to me, and I think it's utterly, again, brilliant. And you're smiling and chuckling.
Well, I'm just sitting here and I'm trying to figure out where you were heading with a couple of your comments. But folks, look, for those of you who did not see the Bill Maher, let's call it rant, if you will, on Friday, it was quite interesting. Now, Bill Maher has been accused of being, of course, pro-Israel, anti-Palestinian, because this is the way this entire conversation always goes. You're either with me or you're against me if you're on the Palestinian team. If you don't give the Palestinians, those protesters, if you don't give them, as you said, exactly what they want, what they had, what they thought they had, what they should have had, and a major meltdown.
David, you know what? What they had was the Mojave Desert.
No.
So they had a land without fruit. They had a land without.
Stuart, hold on. Here's the thing. I've had these social media arguments with somebody right now. He's been after me, calling me. He hasn't gone to the names, but he's hell-bent on the propaganda that he's been raised with. It's very obvious. I recognize the mantras. I recognize the statements. It's all about, attacking me as a Zionist, as a colonist, or whatever. All the stuff that has been created. But, what's incredible, Stuart, is It just doesn't stop. The propaganda implodes. Like there's so much of it that goes on all over the place, to the point now, Stuart, where there was a recent poll taken that 18 to 24-year-olds in the United States believe that Israel should be eliminated. Look at this. This is what they have wanted. They have wanted a systemic change that everybody should believe that the Jewish state should be eliminated. And they've succeeded with one generation by absolute colossal propaganda and brainwashing. In what time world, in 20th century, 21st century, did we ever call for the eradication? We've called for policy change. We've called for political change. We've called for a lot of things. Even the Soviet Union, who was hell on earth. China, which just like killed billions. No one's called for their eradication. Just the Jewish state. And what Bill Maher said yesterday was, guys, we ain't going anywhere. Like the whole idea that you're going to erase Israel off the map, because that's when you said from the Rio Grande to Portland, Oregon, is a reference to the river to the sea.
Right, but I stole that from Bill Maher.
But what I'm saying is the river being the Jordan River, which the sea being the Mediterranean Sea, which is essentially the land of Israel. And you're saying we're going to get rid of all the Jews because we are going to take it back, our old home and whatever. Not happening. Never will happen. And you could keep throwing and lob as many rockets as you want. It ain't happening. So if you want a bloody state, and if you want to, and this is what I was talking about on Friday, Stuart, when you weren't here, when I ranted alone. If you want a state, then it's time to move forward. If you don't want a state, keep staying where you are and see what happens. Because you keep complaining and you keep calling us names and you keep calling us, you keep vilifying us and you keep thinking that the United Nations is going to make a bloody difference. Instead, it's not. The 153 nations that voted in favor of this ceasefire, which includes the Canadian Prime Minister, and the Australian Prime Minister, the New Zealand Prime Minister, all got living hell for not accusing Hamas of what they did wrong. And oh, by the way, the head of Hamas thanked the United Nations for clearly singling out Israel as the aggressor and the oppressor. Thank you. And the elimination of a colonist. Now, you think of this. So if you think we're going anywhere, I got two words for you. No way.
This tragedy, this Holocaust of October 7th. David, you and I differ on opinions about guns and arms and understanding of them. And that's okay. We don't have to agree. But if you went to a Outdoor World, a Cabela's, a gun store, there were more guns sold from October 7th to November 1st in the United States, and probably wherever it was legal, to any other 3-week period in history. Do you want to know why? It wasn't the riots of Rodney King. It wasn't the riots of Floyd. It wasn't the riots of Martin Luther King, because none of those threatened the death to an entire nation. But I saw Bubbies and Zadies all buying guns. Frightening it is. But you want to know something, David? I have a friend that used to work for the federal government in covert side. I really don't even know exactly what side of that. But you know what he said to me? There's more chatter today than there was on September 11th. That's scary, David.
Stuart,
for you living in Canada,
Hamas,
people living in Australia, London,
Hamas had and you didn't maybe not heard this. There was the foiled attack in Germany and Holland that they wanted to go after Jewish institutions. Look, the security is never been greater than what has been going on lately. And let me tell you, we're on high alert. We're all on high alert. But I don't care how much more loudly. And I know today there's going to be another day in Canada where they're going to protest in front of Liberal MPs' offices to force Canada into adhering to this so-called ceasefire. I mean, the absurdity of what they believe they deserve and how they should get it is mind boggling. It's mind boggling. There isn't a word about the return of the 130 plus
Yep.
hostages.
Right. Why would they?
Okay?
David,
There's
the
not a
tunnel
word.
system they just found. You know what? If Hamas cared about anyone that lived in Gaza, you think they would take the millions of tons of concrete and build shelters underground for the people that live
Stuart,
there,
it
that
isn't going to
buy
happen.
food
Stuart,
supplies
Stuart,
to clothe them?
Stuart, this is the thing that you know, it's not even that. I'm not interested in going there anymore. Okay, I'm tired of hearing of people said if only Hamas would have. Hamas had never any interest in governing in a way to turn it into an oasis. They had a chance. They
Yeah.
had a chance. They decided not to. They decided them and their other proxies in Iran all thought that the only way we're gonna take all this money that the world has been giving them, and we're gonna blow the crap out of Israel. We're gonna destroy Israel so that we can take over all of Palestine. This is their raison d'être. I haven't heard one call at the United Nations from the UN Secretary General down to an employee to call out Hamas for who they are. But no, we're not going to do that. We're going to only blame Israel. And for this reason, Israel will not listen to the UN or any other rogue nation who thinks it's right. It doesn't listen to Turkey. It's not listening to,
Well,
China.
listen, Turkey, listen, the national airline is if you were a martyred family, you travel 50% off. Turkey is not a friend to anyone. By the
Stuart,
way, martyrdom doesn't mean killing Jews. It
all
means
right,
killing non-Arabs,
Stuart.
non-Muslims.
The point of this whole rant, Stuart, is look, if the Palestinians, and I know I got ripped on this on Friday, and then I was told, oh, so that's it. We're no two-state solution. No two-state solution. For some simple reason is, again, who are we negotiating with, and what are the bloody terms? It's
Can I
not
ask
like
you a
the
question?
terms. It's not. Hold on, Stuart. Hold on. It's not like what Syria did to Israel years ago, where they said, return the Golan Heights, do all of these things, then we'll consider coming to the negotiating table. There's no negotiating table here, people. You got to know that there's no negotiation here. There were ample attempts to bring the Palestinians to the table. They didn't want anything. They refused. So now, when the chips are down, Israel should back off. Now, when Hamas is at its mercy, it should back off. Yeah, I understand there's a humanitarian crisis, but it's Hamas who brought it on his own people, not Israel. Had Hamas not fired a rocket on October the 7th, had Hamas not attacked Israel, there wouldn't be this problem. But you keep saying, you watch this Bill Maher thing. Unfortunately, civilians are casualties, okay? Because this is the government that they brought in. If you said that Hamas is the duly elected government in Gaza, then they're responsible for their people, not Israel. Israel did not attack. And get over it, for crying out loud.
David, lesson number one, you expect a racist to get over it. It ain't happening.
No, the problem is, Stuart.
Not happening.
No, Stuart. The unfortunate thing, you started by talking about a temper tantrum.
Yep.
This is the temper tantrum. Keep throwing your temper tantrums, people. You could keep blocking traffic. You could keep, accusing. You could keep defacing property. You could keep doing all these shenanigans that you think you're doing. It isn't working. It ain't going to change the policy of the state of Israel. Okay? Frankly, it's not. Return the hostages. Lay down your arms. They'll come to the table, not the other way around.
David, that's all for today.
Have yourself a good one, everyone.
Thank you for tuning in, guys, and listening to the Rant Network. We hope you've enjoyed the conversation and you had David all to yourself on Friday. And you know what? You're going to get him all to yourself on Wednesday. Maybe. Not sure yet. Got a lot of things going on, dealing with temper tantrums. We appreciate your support. Hope you join in next time on another thought-provoking conversation. As I said, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, noon Eastern. Sometimes you're going to like what we say. Sometimes you don't. And believe it or not, even when you don't agree, like this gentleman who's arguing with David, it's okay to debate. And there's one other lesson that I got, and I'm going to say goodbye, David. You need two sides to debate, but at some point, you have to accept some basic facts. Israel isn't going anywhere in your lifetime or in mine. Guys, that's it for today. David, time to say bye.